Go really back, women were property, men made the decisions. So over the course of time, women have always been in a secondary position. Women's philanthropy has come about specifically to support what has been a second-class citizen.
Women's philanthropy started more as an emotional and giving from their heart. They wanted to do something for the good of our society. They wanted to make change.
I think many of those women, as we say, had the power behind closed doors, and they were able to convince their husbands to make contributions to things that were important to them. And we saw them making very big contributions in religious institutions, and where that money went and how you tithed that money, and they were really able to participate and support those kinds of activities. What it did is it allowed women to come together to fight for an issue that was solely theirs to have, and to understand and talk amongst each other in a way that allowed them to identify why they needed the right to vote and what they wanted to get out of it. I think it was the baseline for why we have the philanthropic movement amongst women today. I think it was a step that allowed for the 60s and 70s to happen. I think we had some women who were, trying to move things in their communities. Everybody kind of went back into their communities and worked on different things. But I think it lined everything up. It gave a historical trail for those blaze setters that worked on the feminist movement and on women's rights in the 60s and 70s to really look back and say women can make a change, they can have an impact, and I think it empowered that next generation of women. That's where we started really having women talk about the fact that if you're bringing home money, and that money is yours, how do you want to use it? You don't have an obligation to get married and to have children. You have, those choices are yours to be made. Then you have a choice to identify which issues you want to work on and where you want your money to go. And I think that was really a transitional moment.
I don't think that the ability to give money began really coming into the foreground until probably the 90s. That's when women began having incomes larger and more women having incomes of their own and having more autonomous control over finances. And at that point, then there's a convergence of what have women traditionally been interested in that they've given their time to, and what problems have women observed, and now there's money as well to put into those causes.
When we look at the first and second wave of feminism and the third wave of feminism, what we saw was the opportunity to make decisions for ourselves, to not apologize, to identify the issues. And I think they also felt a great sense of empowerment and obligation, which women have had for a long time, a great sense of obligation and empowerment to change the world for the next generation of young women coming up.